Ladies and gentlemen, this is your first fight of the evening. It will be contested over 3 rounds in the lightweight division. Introduce the first fighting number 4. This is representing from MMA, it's SAMIR, NOOR! And in opponent, fighting out of the corner, he represents NOOR MMA, it's STEINER.
Here we go with our very first contest of the evening. SAMIR NOOR in the red and black, and the much taller STEINER BERGSSON in the solid black. Oh, nice kick up the middle. We're talking about maybe SAMIR was the karate guy when he came out with the karate gi on, but no. STEINER's come out with those heavy kicks. Maybe having Gunnar Nelson in his corner was just a trick to make you think that he's a grappler and actually a striking wizard.
Remember, MMA is the art of deception, that's for sure. SAMIR NOOR steaming forward. He's mixing it up well. Whoa.
Beautiful. He's so snappy with those kicks.
It's a lovely switch high.
Oh, yeah, a huge right hand.
And this has got to be NOOR's real tactic here, to drive in, get his head under the chin, fight inside with those meat hooks of arms for his. A nice jab lands for BERGSSON.
Now, Steve, how much do you think is going to help your confidence having UFC fighter Gunnar Nelson, ADCC, regular competitor in your corner? It's got to give you confidence.
When somebody's been to the top of the mountain, they've definitely got all the experience and all that vision to pass on to you. BERGSSON will definitely be looking for that. You see, NOOR's very good at no-selling that right now. These are 3-3-minute rounds, so the grappling really, if you can take it to the floor, that's going to be a big advantage for you.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, NOOR's just storming forwards, throwing those big right hands, landed a couple of heavy shots. It's sort of the classic, like, tall versus shorter fight. It's like me and you, Steve, really. The tall guy's got to stay long. The short guy wants to close the distance.
And just looking at the face of NOOR right now, just like you'd be doing to me, Chris, you'd be chewing me up with jabs. But NOOR, look, great head position. He's tying up that wrist. Yeah, he's got a deep underhook, and he's around the hip.
Yeah, he's using... It's one of those things that a smaller stature in that cage position when you're pressing is actually, it's easier with a smaller stature. You get under the chin, control the head position. Beautiful snappy kicks.
And he does a turning side kick there as well. He's just using that to keep him off. And this will be exhausting for NOOR over those 9 minutes. Kicking to the body, trying to take away the wind.
It's not what we expect from the Mjolnir crew, is it, Steve? They're coming out with a jumping, Karate Kid kick, really.
He was looking to go to the body. He was looking to go to the body there, but NOOR ducked into it. So not an illegal strike in itself for the knee to land.
NOOR trying to climb along the back.
And this is the thing. Over this first minute and a half of this round, it's NOOR having to sprint in to land anything and then get to the grapple.
Yeah, he's sort of being forced to cover the distance. He's done a really good job of climbing on the back, Steve, but he's going to be thrown over the top.
That's the problem with that single hook and that seatbelt grip. You can slide over the top very quickly. But he does get BERGSSON to the ground. A nice little exclamation point on the end of the round for him as he passes into mount.
Yeah, how much damage can you do in the last 9 seconds of this round?
He should be going for broke. He's not going to lose position. There's very little danger.
Beautiful bridging off the cage by STEINER BERGSSON. Very, very, very unusual escape. Something I call for all the time. The cage is there and you're like, why do you put your feet on it, walk up it, bridge off it? Most fighters don't do it. Often we get used to in the gym that you're rolling or you're wrestling and you hit the wall and you move back into open mat. But you need to be in those gym environments where you keep working against the wall, just as STEINER BERGSSON did just then, and it really stopped him taking too much damage.
Earlier on in the evening, BERGSSON and his corner went to the side and tested all of these fence panels here, so he knows that they do not have a lot of give to them, so he's able to propel himself off. Right now, this is always the trouble with a taller and shorter fighter, is that BERGSSON is going to be punching down, so he's constantly got to punch down, lower his actual jabbing range to land on NOOR, and NOOR is able to slip in so far and kind of, like I said, sprint on to BERGSSON so far. So BERGSSON has got to make him respect something. He's got to have something in that arsenal. He's got to launch a little bit of a missile at him and maybe stop NOOR coming right in. Try to land one on the nose, the mouth, the eye. Get him to back himself up. Oh shoot, it is Gunnar Nelson.
I told you it was Gunnar Nelson. You don't believe me.
I thought he'd be much taller.
Well, 70 welterweight, right?
77, yeah.
Yeah, fought Damian Maia. Yeah. Gunnar Nelson, absolute legend. I was at ADCC UK. Watched him have some crazy matches there.
2011.
Oh, was it that long ago?
It was.
I've been doing this way too long.
Long time.
Here we go,
Yeah,
round
come
2.
out. Again, Noor takes the center of the cage. Look, he throws a little spinning kick of his own.
Yeah, very nice.
I can do that too.
Bergson needs to keep this long now. He needs to use that jab just like that. He needs to keep the jab, keep the distance. All about keeping that distance. Now, this Battle Arena cage is a little bit smaller than like a UFC cage or a Bellator cage, and it does slightly play into the shorter fighters' hands. You can run them to the cage that little bit easier.
Almost catches the kick there, and now he's in on double unders. His head's off to the side, almost threatening a guillotine here as Bergson as he cranks the neck. He gets Noor to back off quick time.
Yeah, Noor had to respect that, had to defend it, which gave him the distance, and he's back to being light on his feet.
Bergson, despite having to always deal with those grappling exchanges from Noor, he's very loose in the shoulders. He can land those quick shots. I think he needs to rely less on the kicking game so far and just try to establish his jab.
As you said it, Steve, his front kick was caught and it was run to the cage. It is one of those classic things that if you bum rush, I don't think is the polite way of putting it, someone throwing a kick, you can usually run them to the cage or run them off balance. Yeah.
That's why the calf kick has come in and it just changed the game, because you can kick low and not exactly fully commit, and nobody can really grab it. They're not going to reach down that far, or if they do, it's setting you up for a head kick later on. So he's got a little bit of a tie plum here. Elbows are in the way. He can peel the head off. This is, again, same story for Noor. They're halfway through the round this time. He's got those knees together. See if he has watched any of the Dagestanis. He collect them up. He's letting Bergson turn to his back so Noor can run onto it.
Yeah, I think he wants the back, but I've seen you, Steve, my fellow commentator here, Mr. Steve Brinkman, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I've seen you do this in the gym before. You let guys climb up because you know they're so high. You're just going to be able to roll them over the top and get to a good position.
It's also very, very it's energy consuming to fight it in any other way.
Yeah.
Look, oh, he's got that deep hook there.
Yeah, exactly that, Steve.
and
Look,
he
he
pulls
pulled
himself
the
up.
head, pulled him out over the top.
And that, again, positional superiority then goes to Bergson. Bergson's completely weathered it. Nobody will even remember the takedown attempt by Noor if he can hold him down here and do any sort of damage. And it also looks like everything Steiner Bergson does damages the face of Noor a little bit. We got a little bit of blood coming from the lips.
Oh, standing choke.
Ooh,
Nearly had it
so
as well.
close. You got to keep that back in the middle of your chest, don't you? He's got the Wizard now, see if he can do anything with it. 30 seconds remaining.
He's trying to finish this single leg. It's a pretty close middle round here.
Tried to run the pipe. This is the thing now with Noor kind of closing down and controlling the positions in the cage. Bergson can't really get a lot of momentum at this point. Can't win the round. Can't put anything in the mind of the judges. But it's a really nice, frenetic pace for this first fight of the evening.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. So technical as well. You think this is our prelim, our undercard, and the level of these two fighters. Very impressive. Now, Steve, I'm going to ask you some advice for it's more for me than these fighters. You're famously 3 foot tall, but our tall fighter over here, Steiner Bergson, what does he need to do when he's being held up against the cage by someone shorter that can get under his chin?
This is one of the great fallacies of being a tall person. You feel like you have to be tall all the time, whereas when you get into those what I would call Greco exchanges, when you've got a clinch position against the fence, is actually to drop yourself down. And it doesn't matter if they have underhooks on you or overhooks or whatever, how they're working those positions. If you drop yourself down onto them, so almost match your belt line with theirs, to try to win the head position, because I would prefer to be a taller person with my head underneath the chin of a shorter person, because then as you rise back up, you're going to completely put their spine offline. You're going to break their posture backwards, which is incredibly damaging and incredibly painful.
Someone needs to cut that little clip of you talking just then and put it to some videos of tall fighters wrestling off cages. That's like a motivational video for me right there. I can wrestle.
Drop into it. But both fighters are breathing rather hard, but I would say Noor has got a little bit more of the fatigue, because, like I said earlier, he has to sprint on everything. He's got to cover a lot of distance, whereas if Bergson can just keep him here, jab off. Also, the thing that we always say we're happy about, look, you see, he comes in with the overhand.
Lovely little left hook off the cage, though, for Bergson.
Even if it doesn't look great, even if it doesn't land right, it looks fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, the judges are looking at aggression.
Backing you up the whole time.
I mean, we also do get counter fighters. You get fighters who sit in the UFC, excellent counter fight. You know, the Stephen Wonderboys of the world that will just bounce on their toes and just look for those counter shots.
But yeah, and Steve Wonderboy is always looking to bounce back and then land that right hand, sprint onto it. Interestingly, Noor threw one calf kick in the first round, and you see the redness on Bergson's leg, which would cut down his movement very, very well.
And that's the thing, if you're a tall fighter and you want to stay on your toes, you want to keep that distance, chopping their legs is really effective, and Noor can do that. But this is where he's had a lot of success here. He's got good head position, he's got the double underhooked, he's going to try and drag him to the floor.
So he's got cage control has been sewn up by Noor for the last 2 rounds, and it's continuing here in the third. Damage, maybe, we got a bit of blood coming from the nose of Bergson now. Damage maybe edges Bergson at the moment, but if I was Bergson's corner, I'd be saying that this is the one where you have to go for broke. It's definitely not tied in your favor. Ooh, he looks for a switch.
Did briefly look for a switch, very clever. But Noor did a good job there. He jabbed, used the momentum of the jab to shoot for that double leg, took him to the cage, and then ultimately he's taken him to the floor. What he needs to do now is be patient and sit back, stop climbing too high.
Just be a lead blanket on your opponent, because he's got, like, Bergson's putting himself out of position, constantly trying to avoid this. He's got a bit of a bulldog position. He rolls him off and then lands a right hand as they stand up.
It's an unusual way of escaping, but it did work very well.
Bergson scrappy Steiner, that's for sure.
We got 1 minute left of our third and final round. This is still anyone's fight.
Bergson almost disrupted him there with the jab as Noor came in. Noor is just like a pit bull on him. He's put his mind to having the takedown. That's what he's going to do.
Good job, take him down.
He sags him right to the floor brilliantly there.
Bergson could look to bring the leg over, maybe trying to touch to an armor platter if he can push the head to the side. He's holding onto his shin, trying to control the posture of Noor. He's got to be active from here, though.
Really?
He's looking for rubber guard now to bring the leg over. It's almost too late. He was in a perfect position earlier, but didn't react to it.
He was in a better position to sweep right with that half butterfly.
Yeah.
Now he's tying up the arms, and Noor will just continue to ride this out because, again, he's in a position to do damage. Underhooking the leg. A little bit of
buggy choke. I think he was trying to set up a buggy choke still. We've never had a buggy choke on ballerina.
Not yet.
We haven't had a heel hook yet. I was thinking about this the other day. In our pro division, you can heel hook. Haven't had one yet.
Hopefully tonight's the night. We have to go to the judges after that, which was an excellent back and forth. Almost your standard striker versus grappler. We were turning the clocks back in the mixed martial arts world. I'll go get the decision.
We'll go straight to the cage now with Steve. Find out who won that. 2 of the best gyms in the world facing off. Frontline versus Mjolnir MMA. Very, very interested to see who gets the nod in this fight. Felt pretty close. I felt like Noor pressured a little bit more aggressive. Bergson, he had some good moments, certainly in control time. You'd have to give it to Noor. But a fantastic way to start this evening of incredible action and fights. And we have some pro fights at the end of our card as well. We have 3 pro fights to finish, including some former ballerina fighters and champions. We have Mozabar returning, Martin Fulda, Mauro Pino, David Komar, Ili Murica, and Max Kaskit. And then we also have some ballerina amateur title fights. One I'm really most excited about, Ollie White versus Ben Hodgson. Rematch of the century. Here we go.
And your winner, by unanimous decision, in the red corner is SAMIR.